Hi, so my name is John Fenley. I am president of People First New Hampshire. Voting, that's what we're here to talk about today. And it's, I think, really crucial to advocacy and to who we are because, I mean, look at how far we've come. We once were denied the basic freedoms to make choices in our own personal lives, let alone vote. We were put in institutions. We were told we didn't matter. And now we're at a time at the precipice of a very important vote coming up in November. And I feel like, you know, people fought so hard for that opportunity to be able to vote, to be able to express their voice, to let their voice be heard, that it would be a shame if we let that go to waste. And that is why we at People First compiled this video for you today, to see why it's so important to vote and to inspire you to get registered, find your polling space, and get out the vote. So enjoy the upcoming testimonies.
There are some things in the world that should be really simple, like voting. My most unforgettable voting experience happened right after I got married and moved to the town of Lebanon, New Hampshire with my husband. And I didn't know anything about where I voted except that it was a Catholic church. And like most Catholic churches, it was really ornate and had a lot of stairs, but I assumed there was access. So, there was, but so I asked the poster how I get in the building. He said, oh, there's a ramp up back. I said, great. I went up the ramp, waited about 20 minutes, and somebody finally came to open the door. And then I said, how do I get downstairs? He said, oh, there's an elevator. And then when I got to the elevator, the elevator was right in front of me. There was a big sign that said, I needed a key to run the elevator. Well, I didn't advocate, so I was starting to yell, help! My name is Kathy, and I'd like to vote, and I use a wheelchair, I need to use the elevator, and I swear I did that about 45 minutes, and finally, this nice priest said, oh, okay, somebody help you. So he sends up this guy, and he says, oh, I need to get you the key. And so he gets the key, he opens the elevator, and then it was about the size of a phone booth, and the buttons were over my head. So he said, well, I'll get in with you. But like I said, it was a phone booth. So he gets in, he's facing me, and I'm facing him, and I'm like staring at his belt buckle. And I said, because I was embarrassed, I said, well, since we're so up close and personal, I think you should know my name. And I said, my name's Kathy. And he said, nice to meet you. I don't remember his name. But we finally get downstairs. Seemed like it took forever. And we finally get downstairs. And it's like a big open area. And on one side, there was a church supper going on. And the priest is about to bless the meal. And then, on the other side is the voting. And they were all excited and all very friendly. And the first part, the registration went really well. And I was really excited because I figured, you know, voting is the way that you meet your neighbors. So I was really excited about it. But then they said, here's our accessible voting booth, and it did look smaller than all the other voting booths. It was painted very well. It had the international symbol of the person in the wheelchair, and there was a nice red, white, and blue material for curtain and everything. And I try to get in. I get in okay, but it's so low that my control of my wheelchair gets stuck. And then I couldn't get my hand down underneath to turn off the chair. So me and the bowling booth started spinning really fast. And it went on for like maybe a minute. And I started yelling that one should never ever yell in church. And people were running, jumping on the weighing tables were falling, and papers were flying, and I don't know what happened, but in a minute, the three pieces of the voting booth split apart, the curtain went flying, and I just started to cry, and the whole room just started laughing. You know, like it was a big, hilarious thing. And then I said, I'll sit at this table and I vote. I'm not going to go into any voting booth. I'm just going to sit right here and I'll vote right here. And of course, my husband comes in and he has no problem getting in because I already told him that he would need help. And he came in with no problem. And then so he was like, what happened in here? And I started to cry all over again. I said, I was just trying to vote. And so then after that, I lived in Lebanon for 7 years. And people said, everyone, all my neighbors were like, Kathy, tomorrow is voting day. What time are you going to vote? And I'd be like, I don't know why. And they say, because I want to do my voting before you get there. So it was a big joke. And then, but that day, the next day, I went to Granite State Independent Living and told the whole office what happened. And somebody from the Washington Post called me and said, did this really happen? And I said, yep, this really happened. And so after that, HAVA was born, which HAVA is the Help America Vote Act. And that gives states money so that they can buy or they can have accessible voting equipment, and their voting and polling places can be accessible to everyone, because everyone should be able to vote easily.
Good afternoon, my name is Scott McCullough. Please go down to vote. Your vote does count for the issues like Medicaid, Medicare, transportation, and others. Let your voice be heard.
I have already registered to vote. Now I can vote at the polls on election days. Here in Concord, I vote at the St. John's Church Activity Center. And I encourage more and more people to vote. Voting is very, very important.
So I'm here live with some of our panelists today, some advocates in the state of New Hampshire, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions about voting, okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, do any of you know what percentage of people with disabilities are actually eligible to vote?
Well, I do.
You do?
Yes.
That's good, because this would have been awkward otherwise.
Well, actually, people with disabilities make up 1/4 of the electorate, which means 1/4 of all American citizens are eligible to vote. And also, we are the largest minority in the U.S. of people with disabilities are the largest minority in the U.S. So we can and we should sway an election. So we can make some big positive changes.
So we have a lot of power.
Yeah, we
Yes.
do. If we only choose to use it,
Wow,
we
1/4
need
of the
to choose
electorate.
to use it.
So My other question would be, so this kind of goes to all the panelists. Why does your vote matter? What makes you
Let
think
your
that
voices be heard. Let your voice be heard to the candidates who, I've watched the debates and I'm not impressed because they don't answer the questions half of the time and they argue. It's not about arguing, it's about people with disabilities, focus on that, and they don't. They bicker back and forth like a bunch of 2-year-olds. They gotta knock it off, focus on the issues.
Okay, so if you could ask a question related to disability rights and what we're all about here at People First in New Hampshire, what question would you ask the candidates? Like, look at the camera and pretend that
Why do you want to cut the budget in Concord, New Hampshire for people with disabilities that we need the budget money?
Okay.
We need the budget money bad.
This guy's a go-getter. All right, I like that. So
I have something, John.
yeah, Roberta. So why does your vote matter? Why should they listen to your voice? Why does your voice matter?
Because I am a very strong advocate when it comes to elections, and I would love to see more and more people with disabilities and those without disabilities go to the polls. I would love to see them register first and then vote. And because right now not enough people go to the polls to vote, and this is a big problem in the United States of America.
So, do you, another question, just to follow up, Roberta. Do you feel that you've always had the right to vote, growing up and all through adulthood? Was it always your right to vote?
Well, when I lived at Laconia State School, I did not have the right to vote.
You didn't.
No.
So it must feel pretty amazing now that you have the right to have your voice be heard on a
I am happy because I can vote now.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I am so excited.
Yeah, right on. That's the kind of stuff we want our viewers to think about. So, Kathy, and then to you, why does your vote matter?
Because I'm a citizen and it's my civil rights. So, and it's that simple.
I wouldn't want to cross paths with any three of you. So, just want to state that to the audience. Okay. So, another question I have, and this is a serious concern for a lot of people. What would you guys say are some of the reasons that might prevent many people with disabilities like ourselves from voting?
Some people don't want to bother listening to the debates.
It's just it's hard to understand, and
Yes,
it's a lot
and
to
that
listen
and
to.
the reading,
Yeah.
writing, they don't want to bother because they said our candidates, when they get in,
Maybe it's not that they don't want to bother, but it's too difficult.
yes, and
Or
they
maybe
said,
they don't have the supports to
Right.
Yes.
better understand what's being talked about.
That's
So
a very
that's
good
maybe something that that our group in New Hampshire could work on.
And I have something to say, John.
Yeah.
Another reason other people with disabilities do not feel comfortable going to vote is that they do not know how to read and write. They cannot take notes.
Okay, so that can be a real barrier and kind of make them afraid of not being able to participate.
And plus the candidates who are standing behind the podiums, and they talk very negative, they argue with one another, they start blah 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 together.
They blah blah blah.
Yes.
yes, they
I might have heard that a few times. Kathy, what do you think are some major roadblocks, some reasons that you feel a lot of people with disabilities might not be easy for them to vote, or they may choose not to vote?
Well, there's a couple of reasons I can think of. One is that some people, you need a valid ID to vote, and some people with disabilities, they don't have driver's license, and maybe they haven't got an ID yet.
Do you guys have ID?
oh yes.
I have an idea.
Well, that's good.
Nice, so you're set.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
non-driver's
I totally get what you're
idea.
saying, yeah.
And the other is transportation.
Yeah.
It might be difficult to get to the polls, and too hard to arrange transportation for the exact time. And when you arrange transportation, sometimes you have to wait forever to get it, and then you have to wait forever to get back. And so somebody might not want to bother with just voting because normally voting takes just a few minutes. So somebody might not want to bother with that. And the other thing is that still to this day, polls are not always the most accessible, and sometimes the voting equipment, might have a malfunction, so people go, oh, that's too hard, and they stay home and watch another TV show.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why it would be challenging for us to vote, from accessibility to just a lack of understanding about the candidates because nobody's made it, digestible for us. I mean, it's hard to take in all this information coming at all angles,
Yes.
and picking apart, what is just partisan bickering and what is actually, policy. So I think these are really good, and of course, transportation is something that in New Hampshire, and I'm sure in many of your states, for those of you who are watching.
May I mention one more thing to your
Yes,
question?
Roberta.
I can give you an example. That's why women were not allowed to vote, even if they tried to sneak out and vote, if they were beaten up and sent to prison. No.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
I think that's ridiculous, and I think that's evidence of that would be that we have a female candidate for president. So look at how far we've come. So my last question before we sign off, Kathy, why are you voting this year?
I think I always said why, because it's my civil rights, and I do believe my opinion matters, and that's it. That's why.
Cool, short and sweet. What do you think?
I'm going to vote because I need to prove that people with disabilities or any disability has the right to vote. If you don't vote, don't complain.
Yeah, well
That's
well said. And then Roberta, we'll end with you. Why are you going to vote this year?
I am gonna vote this year because my rights really matter. In voting is extremely important. If you don't vote, please do not complain. No.
All we gotta do is get out there, register, and vote. Vote, yeah, vote. Register to vote. Vote, yeah, vote.